Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a huge question, one that gets right to the heart of what makes us human. It's all based on a really fascinating paper from the journal Nature. And the question is this: what is language for? Is it the tool we use to think, or is it the tool we use to talk to each other? Believe me, the answer is going to change how you think about, well, thinking. Just take a second. Do you think in words? Yeah, I'm guessing for pretty much all of you, the answer is a quick yes, right? We've all got that little voice in our head, that narrator who's running a constant commentary on our lives, debating what to have for lunch, replaying conversations. It really feels like our thoughts are made of words. And this intuition is so powerful that for centuries it's been the leading theory. The idea that language is basically the operating system for the human mind. It's the software that lets our brain do all the amazing things that it does. But what if that intuition, as strong as it is actually wrong? So this brings us to this big scientific debate. You've got two main camps. In one corner, there's the language for thought hypothesis, the idea that language is our mental OS. And in the other corner, you have the language for communication hypothesis. This one says, nope, thought is its own thing, and language is more like a killer app we use to beam those thoughts into other people's heads. So today, let's look at the evidence and see which idea holds up. So where do we even begin? Well, let's go straight to the source, inside the brain itself. Thanks to modern neuroscience, we don't have to just philosophize about this stuff anymore. We can actually peek inside and see if the brain treats language and thought like they're the same thing. Okay, check this out. Neuroscientists have been able to map with incredible precision the parts of the brain that handle language. It's this network you see here in red. This is your language command center. It just lights up anytime you're dealing with sentences, listening, reading, speaking, even signing. This is our area of interest. All right, so here's the big test. If language really is the operating system for all our thinking, then this red network, it should go wild whenever we do any kind of hard thinking, right? Doesn't matter if it's a logic puzzle, a math problem, whatever, it should all run through here. But get this, when scientists actually do the experiment, when they have people in a brain scanner solving puzzles or doing math, the language network on the left, it stays quiet. Instead, a totally separate network, this multiple demand network you see in blue, it does all the work. They're completely different circuits. And the story doesn't stop there. What about thinking about other people? Trying to figure out what a friend is thinking or feeling. Once again, the red language network is quiet. A third network, this green one, called the theory of mind network, handles that job. It's another separate system. So the picture we're getting from neuroscience is this really clear division of labor in the brain. It's like a company with specialized departments. You've got the language department, the problem-solving department, the social thinking department. They all work together, for sure. But language is not the CEO running the whole show. Now, brain scans are one thing, but maybe the most powerful, most human evidence comes from looking at what happens when someone tragically loses their ability to use language. This condition is known as aphasia. It's often the result of a stroke that damages that very specific red language network we were just looking at. For people with severe aphasia, that link between their inner thoughts and the words to express them is just broken. So here's the crucial question. If the language is thought idea is right, then losing language should mean losing the ability to think complex thoughts. The whole mental computer should crash. But is that what we actually see? The evidence is frankly just incredible. Studies have shown again and again that people with severe aphasia, people who can barely speak a single word, can still solve math problems. They can think logically. They appreciate music and art. They can navigate a new city. They can even reason about what other people believe. Their minds are still sharp. Their thoughts are intact. They're just locked inside. Okay, so for our final piece of evidence, let's step back from the brain and look at language itself. Just think about its design. If you were building a code from scratch, would a code for thinking look the same as a code for talking? Well, probably not. A system for pure thought would need to be perfectly logical. Every concept would have to be crystal clear, no ambiguity whatsoever. But a system for communicating between two noisy, imperfect humans, that has different priorities. It's got to be efficient, easy for kids to pick up, and able to handle mistakes. So which one looks more like the languages we actually speak? It's not even close. Our languages are tailor-made for communication. Just take ambiguity. Think about the word fly. It can be an insect or an action. That would be a disaster for a logical thought system. But for communication, it's a feature, not a bug. It lets us reuse short, easy words and let the context do the work. It's super efficient.
And you see this design for efficiency all over the place. A huge study of 37 different languages found that they all share this one weird rule. They tend to structure sentences to keep related words as close together as possible. Why? Well, it makes sentences easier for our brains to process. It reduces the strain on our memory. That's a design choice for easy communication, not for pure abstract logic.
So, we've looked at brain scans, we've looked at what happens when language is lost, and we've looked at the very design of language itself. When you put all three pieces of evidence together, what's the verdict? In science, what we have here is something called a double dissociation. It sounds complicated, but it's really simple. It's the gold standard for proving two things are separate. First, we see you can have thought without language. That's the case with aphasia. And second, you can also have language without all your other thinking abilities being intact, which we see in certain developmental disorders. They can exist without each other. Case closed. Okay, so we've pretty much established that language and thought are two different things. But so what? Why is this more than just an academic debate? Well, because it completely changes how we see ourselves and where human intelligence really comes from. Here's the big idea. Our brains already had this incredible capacity for complex, abstract thought that evolved separately. Language didn't create that power. Language was the invention that unleashed it. It gave our private internal thoughts a way to get out into the world and connect with other thoughts. And that ability to share thought is the human superpower. It's what lets us pass knowledge down from one generation to the next. It means one person's brilliant idea doesn't just die with them. It can be shared, improved upon, and built on forever. This is the engine that built everything, from the first stone tools to the device you're watching this on right now. As the authors of the paper put it so perfectly, language is a mirror. It reflects the amazing sophistication that's already in our minds. It isn't the source of that sophistication, it's just the best tool we have for sharing it. Which leaves us with one last kind of mind-blowing question to think about. If that voice in your head isn't your actual thought, if it's just a translation into English or Japanese or Swahili, then what language do we actually think in? What is the mind's true native language? Figuring that out, well, that might just be the next great scientific adventure. Thanks for joining this explainer.